Hello, everyone. Real Blue TV here again with another video. This time, some Rogue Company. Now, if you go back and look at some of my previous videos, we talked about some Rogue Company in the past. There's a video of the entire HRX panel that was at DreamHack Atlanta, where they talked about the making of it. And the most interesting part of that video, if you did watch it, if you didn't, I recommend you go back and watch it. But the most interesting part to me was how they got the gun sounds. They actually sent one of their sound engineers to somewhere in the northwest part of the United States, in the middle of nowhere. It was like a 3-hour drive from civilization, basically. And they shot a bunch of guns with this guy that owns guns, even some guns that are illegal to have, but he has them because he has, I don't know, some special permit or whatever. So yeah, they actually shot grenade launchers and they were shooting these guns, and they had mics in all different places to find the gun sounds from far away to near the gun, whatever it may be. So if you haven't watched that, go check it out. Another video that you might want to watch is when they first announced Rogue Company. A lot of people thought it was a battle royale. I actually played the game in July of 2019 in the studio at High Res Studios. So I got to play the game way before anyone else. They then gave me access right after that so that I would have it at my house, but you know, I was only able to play against bots for most of the time. So I did a lot of experimenting with some characters and stuff. And that leads me to the next part of this video. A lot of people, as soon as video games come out, they're super adamant to get into the pro scene of that game, and they want the esports section of it to come up super fast. Well, that's not really how Rogue Company is going to work. So if we look at our roadmap, as they're calling it, it's the roadmap for Rogue Company. They did announce it today. So they're breaking this year down into essentially 3 phases. Phase 1 is their player identity. So to show off your flair with custom avatars, banners, frames, things like that. And then they want to do the surrender and deserter penalty, which is to reduce the time in an inbalanced match through a surrender option. This is something I thought we should have had in Paladins all along, and it is already in Smite, which is the reason why I thought it should be in Paladins, especially when I'm in a ranked game and I'm waiting 10 minutes for a queue, or 8 minutes when they fixed it to that, and someone either leaves the match on purpose, throws the game on purpose, or they sit and spawn AFK, right? I wish I didn't have to waste 20 minutes of my time playing that game. So hopefully the surrender will work out as well as I think it should in Rogue Company, like it has done in Smite. Then there's also a deterrent system for players who leave matches or go on AFK, right? The deserter penalty is something that's very important in a video game such as Paladins, Smite, and Rogue Company. It's essentially punishing someone for doing something they shouldn't, like going AFK. Now, in Paladins, and I think in Smite too, sometimes the game bugs out, you're not allowed to accept a queue in a ranked game, and you end up getting a deserter, or the game crashes, and when you try to load back in, it gives you a deserter. So I understand that painful part of this, but I still think it's important. There's also a new map coming out, which is Vice. I think that's in the next patch, Scott Gandhi said as well. This is awesome. And since we're talking about maps here, I will have top downs of the maps coming out very soon for those pro players, coaches, and future competitive Rogue Company players, right? Right now, I could get the top downs from the scoreboard screen in the game, but that's only a black and white version. And I'm trying to get a colored top down of, like how I had of all the Paladins maps. That way, you know, we can label them with some generic callouts, or we can work together as a community to get some nice callouts going for that as well. Then in phase 2, there's a new rogue who will be coming out. I think they're looking to get 16, maybe 17 rogues in the game total by the end of 2020. Right now, they have 13 rogues in the game. Sorry, I had to kind of count in my head. They have 13 rogues in the game, and we're going to talk about the rogues here in a minute because a lot of people are trying to put out tier lists already. They're also going to, in phase 2, come out with custom matches so you can put together competitive matches or just practice with friends. That means that's when it's time, when scrims are going to happen, when tournaments are going to start happening, hopefully. And they're also going to try and release a ranked game mode as well, right? So everyone wants ranked already. They've been playing casuals like it's ranked sometimes, unless you run into some people who haven't been playing the game for as long as I have. But hey, there's also going to be Rogue Mastery, which is unlock unique rewards and cosmetics as you win matches, master and level up each rogue, kind of like how you can in Paladins and Smite as well. And then phase 3, which is the final phase of 2020 that we know of so far, Equipment Mastery. So master your gadgets and weapons to earn rewards as well. This is looking like a lot of more challenges specific to gadgets and weapons. It's also leveling things up, you know, stuff like that, getting some nice cosmetics for those. Then there's a battle pass that they plan on coming out with. All of you should know what battle passes are. They're pretty much in every game now. Cosmetics, skins, rewards, much more as well. And then gameplay improvements as well. An advanced ping system to better improve team communication. That's something that I've found I've had a problem with lately since the open beta came out. People don't understand. If I double ping something quick enough, it says there's an enemy there. If I don't double click fast enough, or double ping fast enough, then it just says go here, and some people may get confused by that. So moving on to the rogues now, we see a lot of tier lists. So I have a tier list saved that's pretty much my favorite tier list, and it's from one of my good friends, Roman Rulers. So let's take a look at this tier list. It says every rogue in the game right now is S tier. This is actually true in my opinion. If you're a good player right now, that also means you're a bad player right now. And why I say that is because there's people who've been playing this in closed alpha like myself, right? We think we're good, but then there's natural born players or natural born gifted players that come into the game that are just good at video games and shooters and maybe even third person games. So they're going to be good at this, right? And plus it's only the second, or now it's the third day of public release, or like, you know, it's still closed beta. You need a code to get in, or you can buy your way in by buying a founders pack. But still, there's a lot more players, a lot more newer players coming in. So everyone's still kind of adjusting to the game. They're still kind of adjusting to the maps, still kind of adjusting to the gameplay, the mechanics, and the characters themselves, or the rogues, they're called. So we're going to quickly just go over each rogue and show you how each one could be good and how each one could be bad. So let's start off with Anvil, right? He does have a barricade. You can deploy that barricade that blocks damage and movement. He has his passive, which gains immunity to EMP, disorient, slow, and blind effects. If you look at his loadout, his arbitrator, shotguns. If you're good with shotguns, then it's a good shotgun. But the preferred gun, if I were to play Anvil, would be the MLX Maw, the LMG. It's got like 90 bullets in the clip. You can just fire away. Plus you pair that with perks like armor, where you gain an additional 25 armor, which is headstrong, by the way. You can grab, you know, life drain. Downing an enemy heals for a significant amount over a short duration. You also gain the ability to reload while sprinting with Berserker, and Shredder rounds, which deals more damage to equipment, and you carry more ammunition for a 90 in the clip LMG. So that could be why he's good. He also has a trophy system, which is called the Active Protective System. He has C4s. The Executioner is by far the best pistol in the game right now. So, I mean, yeah, he could be good and he could be bad, like I said. Then there's Chalk. Chalk, which has the stim pack, overheals yourself for a duration, or you can revive yourself while downed. Just so you guys know, there was like 2 or 3 of these characters that had this ability way back in the day of closed alpha. So he's the only one with it now. So I can see this guy being very, very good, because if you have 170 health in a 1v1 and you lose, you're pretty bad, man. Or something just did not go your way. He also has grit, which means he can dodge roll while he's down, and he has increased health while he's down. So you even have more of a chance of reviving yourself. Now, when you talk about his guns, the shotgun is probably the better of his 2 weapons. The D40C SMG is pretty decent, but it's pretty crap at long range, and most of the times in short range battles, if you miss a few bullets, you might lose that battle, unless maybe the other person's worse and you have your stim health activated. But still, I would go with the SKL6, especially when you have that much. You know, normally the shotguns in this game have 2 in the mag. This one has 5. It's got a relatively short reload time if you're just gonna one tap then reload, one tap reload, one tap reload, whatever it may be. Plus you have your extra health, so you should be able to win the shotgun battle. Spitfire, I would say, is probably the second best pistol in the game just because it's an automatic pistol. It does have decent upgrades as well. And flashbang, Semtex, those are pretty standard. I think the flashbangs are better right now. Here's why. The flashbang blinds someone. The first upgrade to it increases your throw distance. And then the second one gives you a second, or tier 2 gives you a second flashbang. When the Semtex is kind of wonky to throw most of the time, especially for controller players, not so much maybe on the mouse and keyboard. I actually haven't played with Semtex on keyboard. I've played with some other stuff on keyboard already. So the first upgrade increases the throw speed, and then the second one increases the explosion radius. So you're still only going to get one of these. Let's take a look at the perks here. Some of his best perks, shredder rounds, like we said, with Anvil are still there. But cloaked is super important because you become immune to being revealed by enemies. And there's 2 characters that naturally have reveal abilities. And then there's a few other characters that can reveal you when they shoot you with any type of gun that they have. So cloaked, very important perk. Cloaked, by the way, is also super cheap to get. It's only 4,000 cash in the game, and you can get it at the start of you can get it at the start of round 1 if they have a Dallas or a Talon, but we'll get into those 2 characters here in a second. Stalker's pretty good too, especially if you're gonna have the shotgun and you want to aim down your sights. If you're not really big into aim ADSing, then I wouldn't say Stalker is big to you. He can revive his teammates faster. But the last 2 perks are the ones I want to talk about. So we have Life Drain again, which downing an enemy heals for a significant amount over a short duration. The more kills you get, the faster you'll get your ability back too, so you can overheal yourself, have that 170 health, or once again, you can revive yourself. And then also Replenish, which downing an enemy reloads your currently equipped weapon and restores ammunition, right? So you get all your ammunition back. Plus, if you down someone with your shotgun, it doesn't matter about the reload time. It's going to automatically reload for you. So Chalk, in that situation, pretty good in those 1v1 situations. Next, we have Dallas. Dallas is one of the better reveals in the game, although there is only 2 right now. I personally like Talon, but I think that this guy has the better guns, especially if you're a PC player and you just want to click heads. Now, his HRM 30KS is an AR. That's a pretty decent weapon, but if you want to go with the better one, you have to go with the Devotion. A lot of people, when they look at it, think it's a shotgun at first. It kind of resembles a shotgun look to it, but it's actually a DMR, so it's like a marksman rifle. I think it's 1 headshot will pretty much devastate the enemy. It won't knock them down completely, especially on first upgrade, but the Devotion is the better weapon. His LW6 revolver is one of the better handguns in the game as well. I would probably put this gun as the #1 pistol in the game, but the thing is that he's the only one that has it right now. If you get a headshot and then a body shot, that person's down, so you don't have to shoot for days if you can aim. Incendiary grenade is pretty good. The EMP grenade, I would say, is pretty decent too, but it's kind of depending on who's on the other team. And then he has good perks. Padded Steps is pretty good. He's got the Stalker perk for his DMR, which is really, really good. He's got Bounce Back, which reduces your health regeneration delay. He's got Armor himself, and he has the Replenish perk. The problem with Dallas and Talon eventually is if you go cloaked, their ability is pretty much useless, but most of the time it won't be completely useless because someone is going to be able to be revealed on the team. You can't have a whole team full of cloaked, I don't think, at this point. Then we have Dima. Dima's KA-30 is one of the better ARs in the game, but the thing is that Dima's pretty dual threat dangerous. His KA-30 is one of the best ARs in the game, like I said, but the Mamba is one of the better DRs. This is a 3-round burst gun. 2 bursts to down someone once you get it fully upgraded, or just 3 bursts before that. And he has one of the better pistols, which is the Executioner. He also has a grenade, and not just a grenade. He has his MRV launcher, which equips a devastating cluster grenade, right? It busts into 3 different smaller grenades. I can't believe I've died to that so many times. Enemies you down are revealed to your teammate for a short duration too. That's really good. The problem with Dima is that if you get the perk, I believe it's called Strong Arm. Gogurt, man. Gogurt, dude. Gogurt, dude. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I can't remember where DND is right now, but that's the way we're going to have to do this. The problem with Dima, I believe Dallas has it. He does not, so it would have to be Chuck. Nope. I struck out again. Oh, it's Anvil. Okay, so this perk here, once you get this is huge. Tenacity against Dima, pretty much, it doesn't nullify his grenade damage from his cluster ability or his normal grenade, but it pretty much says you're not gonna die unless, of course, you're standing directly on the grenade, which if you are, then prayers go out to you, man. Now, here's the thing with Glitch. Glitch is probably one of the best characters in the game if you were to actually make a tier list. The problem is that his hoodie makes his hitbox bigger than it is. So when you are crouched behind something, you can still get headshot as if you're standing up, and it sucks, man. I tried playing Glitch for like an entire day, and it was just very frustrating because I kept dying. Now, his ability is a hack. It activates a device that can detect nearby enemy signals and infiltrate their systems. That's what it says. Here's what it can do. It can destroy Anvil's barricade. It can destroy trophy systems. It can destroy all other equipment. It can hack enemies if they're within its radius, and it'll tell you on the little screen when you pull it up who's in the radius exactly, like Dallas, Talon, you know, stuff like that. And it hacks them so they can't use their abilities for a short duration. Destroys the equipment, like I said. It also can tell you what equipment is near it, the radius as well. So on the left side of the screen of the little device, it'll tell you the person that's near you, and then on the right side it'll tell you like ballistic knife from Ronin, or barricade, Anvil barricade, or a trophy system, whatever it may be. It destroys it. Now, here's the second use for that little thing. Even if after you've already hacked and you can't use it again, you can still use it as kind of like a UAV thing. You know, you're in a 1v1 situation to clutch out this round and you don't know where this person is. They're not moving, so you can't sound whore them and find their footsteps. You pull that thing out, and if they're if their name shows up on the screen, they're within 25 meters of you, and by then you should realize, are they in front of you or to your left, to your right, to your behind, whatever it may be. Now, you move very slowly when you have that device out. You can't shoot, and it takes about half a second to put it away to pull out your gun once again, right? Intuition's pretty good too. You can detect nearby enemy equipment even through walls. That way you know if you need to pull out your hack and take down a barricade for your team to push through, especially if you're on a map like Icarus with the alley in the way, right? Flashbangs are usually the go-to for me when I play Glitch, and for perks, padded steps is always good. Evade is really good right now because people really don't want to chase kills, and I think it'll be even better to get out of line of sight against someone later down the line, because people are going to learn that they need to hold their lanes and they can't really play too aggressive. Bounce back, of course, we talked about that one. I think this one is very important. Nimble hands. Increase weapon swap and reload speed, but the better version of that is the reload speed. Reloading takes so long in this game, and if you don't have the ability to grab the perk that allows you to reload while sprinting, then you need this one, because the reload, after you get this perk, the reload, you'll see you don't even notice that you reload most of the time because the animation kind of is cut in half. That's how fast the reload is. Sixth Sense is pretty good, especially if you're in a 1v2 or, you know, in a situation where you need to know if they can see you, stuff like that. And tracker rounds is the other form of reveal. This is also a perk that Saint has as well. Once you damage someone with the firearm, the enemy will be revealed to your team. It's only for a short duration, but still, it's really, really good. If we're talking about his guns, his shotgun's really good. That's the same one Chalk uses. I personally go for the LMPX. I think it's the best SMG in the game. I think it has the fastest fire rate, and I think that it's insane. Then we have Lancer. Lancer actually used to have the self-revive back in the day, I believe. So Lancer has quick and quiet, right? You gain increased movement speed, quieter movement, and the immunity reveals for a duration or until firing your weapon. This is super good if you're trying to get a flank, especially on a map like Factory. If you know everyone's going to one bomb site and you flank around with Lancer, you're going to get there faster than anyone else in the game. And you're going to surprise them faster than they can realize that that is going to happen. Now, once they start to look out for it in the next couple rounds, you may have to change up your playstyle, or you may have to take different precautions, but she's super good. The better part of her abilities is her passive. Activating dodge roll reloads your currently equipped weapon. So you can mow someone down, dodge roll, and then mow someone down again. In her guns, here's how I personally play her. She has a Spitfire, which is the automatic pistol. You can upgrade that fully 2000 in the very first round at the start of the game, and then you have your dodge roll for reload, and then you can just go for perks after that. You don't even have to get a gun. The Striker 8x10, it's a decent shotgun, but it's really not that good, especially when you compare it to the SKL6. The 24S is a good SMG. It's not as good as the one that Glitch has. So that's the reason why I just stick with the Spitfire and I load up on perks the entire game. Now, if I'm getting bodied or I need to grab something like a smoke or a Semtex, I'll grab those. And if I'm completely getting bodied, I will pull out the 24S or maybe the Striker if it's a smaller map. I see most people go for the Semtex, but personally I think smoke grenades are undervalued in the game right now. Maybe it's because some characters like Phantom have a smoke grenade in their ability. For perks, again, life drain, really good. Tracker rounds, really good. Helping hand's pretty good. I wouldn't really prioritize it on Lancer to be safe because you would most likely need life drain, tracker rounds. You need Stalker with her. I think Shredder rounds is pretty useless unless you grab the 24S. Then you need that extra ammunition, or maybe they have an Anvil and you need to put more damage on the equipment, but really that's not your job as Lancer. And padded steps are really good for her as well. You want to be as quick and as quiet as possible with Lancer. The problem is once people realize that you're trying to flank the entire time, she's pretty much useless. She can still fight from the back line with the rest of her team, but she is really, really better at flanking around and getting behind people. Phantom. A lot of people say if you're playing Phantom in their game, you're throwing. Here's my opinion. Phantom pretty soon is going to be played on every map by every mouse and keyboard player who thinks they can just click heads all day, because the LR15 full body is an insane gun. A body shot is 80 damage, so all you got to do is swap to your pistol, and she does have the ability to swap to her pistol faster with a perk. And also, if you shoot him in the head, that's an instant down. That's 140 health, which means that if Chalk is running at her with his stim activated, it's not going to headshot down him right away, but still. She has the Nano Smoke, which is equip a smoke grenade that reveals enemies in the area. So it reveals the enemies and the enemies can't see her. It's kind of like that blue sparkly smoke bomb that you have seen if you've been playing already. Grievous wounds damaging an enemy delays their health regeneration. That really hurts, actually. That's what makes her really good. The Nano Smoke, if they're not going to push through the smoke, or if she's not able to kill them before the smoke ends, that's when it becomes troubling. Grievous wounds is really, really good. It delays them being able to re-heal so that they can push into her or maybe even into her team. The LR15 full body is the best sniper rifle in the game. It's actually the only sniper rifle at this point. But the Aaron L212 I think is a good option if you're not very good with the LR15 just yet. So if you're not practicing with the actual sniper, you can play with her DMR. It's not as bad. She's got a pistol. It's a single fire pistol. It's silenced, so that helps you out. Sticky sensor. I've been trying my best to use this, but I just go ahead and use the grenade every time, which is what I think everyone uses. So sticky sensor, I'm not really sure how well it's going to work. I think it works like Talon's reveal ability, so we'll take a look at it in the future and I'll let you know. For perks, of course, evade, really good. Cloaked is still good. There's nimble hands for increased weapon swap and reload speed since you have the sniper rifle. Stalker's pretty good too. Life drain is really good still, and so is tracker rounds. Tracker rounds not so much, because if you can headshot someone, they're gonna go down, unless it's like a Chalk that it could self-revive, or maybe the other team has a Saint. Then we have Ronin. Ronin is one of my favorite characters to play, but she's hidden on the enemy's minimap as her passive, and her ballistic knife. Here's the way to play this knife, right? You throw it, and if the enemy goes near it, it blows up. Most of the time, they're going to shoot it, hack it, destroy it, whatever it may be. But here's what you can do. You can throw it and then shoot it yourself, and then they die, right? So there you go. She also has one of the better guns that we talked about, which is the KA-30. Her SLC is pretty decent, although it's not the best SMG, so I would go with the KA-30. She's got that Spitfire as her automatic pistol. She's got a freaking katana that you can throw at people, although that's not as important. I just thought the katana was very cool. I think Lancer used to have a katana as well. I think she still does, actually. Smoke grenades and frag grenades, still pretty good. For her perks, she's got evade. She's got tenacity if she needs it. She's got the nimble hands. She's got replenish, which is probably the best perk in the game right now. Behind life drain, maybe even. And she's got sixth sense. Personally, I'd go for replenish, nimble hands, evade, grab myself a grenade, grab myself the KA-30, and throw knives at people and just run into their faces and shoot them with the best AR in the game. Then we have Saint. Saint's one of the better characters in the game if I actually made a real tier list. And at the end of this, we'll actually do my real best rogues and not so best rogues. Saint can actually revive people from anywhere on the map with his drone. Here's how to play against him, though. People will say, oh, the Saint's reviving, shoot him, and they kill the person before the drone can revive him. Just wait for the drone to revive that person if you can. If you're able to wait for that drone to do its job, let the drone do its job, then kill the person again. They're gonna be revived with like 30 or 40 health, so it's not gonna be that difficult to kill them. And also, Saint loses his drone for the rest of that round. So there you go. Reviving a teammate heals the person and him for a significant amount, so that's really good. Let's talk about his guns. The MLX Mark IV I've been trying to use, but when you aim with it, it goes straight into the ACOG scope, and you can't do anything else unless you hip fire with it. It's a good scoped AR, but the better gun is the Mamba, the best DMR in the game, I believe. This thing is insane. You just have to use it. He also has one of the better pistols in the Executioners, and he has Claymores. Claymores come in handy. I used to go smoke grenades 10 out of 10 times, but now to prevent people from flanking or just to lock down objectives when we plant the bomb in demolition, trip mine is the way to go, man. You can also get 2 of them, and they become less conspicuous and increase durability too. For perks, usually I go cloaked first if they have a reveal on the other team. I'm Saint. I don't want to be revealed. I want to keep my team alive. I want to get some revives off. Tracker rounds are really good since maybe my team doesn't pick up a reveal. I'll grab that. Armor's really good. So is bounce back. But the most important perk for Saint is helping hand. Revive teammates faster. Because it works for the drone as well. I think it's like a 2-second, maybe even less, like 1.7 or something it takes to revive someone. So if you go Mamba Saint, you're probably going to win. Scorch is insane, by the way. Her overheat ability is insane, especially in 1v1 duels. Like I said with Chalk, you got 170 health in a duel. If you lose, you're bad. If you lose with this chick in a duel, same thing, man. Your firearms and melee attacks will set enemies on fire. That even works if you throw a melee weapon at someone. It sets them on fire. You're immune to fire at all times. The Arbitrator is probably the best shotgun in the game. If you can aim, we talked about this. Although, if you can't, then it's the SKL-6, the one that Chalk has. This is a 3-round burst pistol. It's pretty decent, especially since you have that overheat ability. I just want to show you guys. Oh, it's not going to show you. Her arm is actually her melee weapon, but it's pretty dope. She's got incinerator grenades, and she can step in her own fire. And then for perks, she gets armor, which is insane because of her 1v1 ability with the overheat. Plus, she has tenacity. She's got nimble hands if you want to swap. She's got replenish. So if you go SMG with fire rounds coming out, and you have replenish on, oh my goodness, say goodbye to... You can win a 1v2, especially with your dodge rolls and the evade perk. So she's pretty dangerous, man. Then we have Talon. I think Talon's better than Dallas with reveals only because of his radar dart, right? Where you can throw it, it attaches to surfaces and detects nearby enemies on your mini-map or your radar. And then with Mag Gloves, his passive, he can pick it up from a range and then throw it again. You can also pick up the bomb from a range. You can pick up guns, weapons, whatever it may be. You can pick it up from range, which at first in my head sounded dumb, but then I realized it's actually a really good idea, and it comes in use a lot of times, especially in a third-person game when you know you can 3-peek and see if there's an enemy there. This DMR is really good. The problem is I suck with it, so I stick with the best SMG in the game. He's got 2 really good guns. He also has flashbang C4s. His pistol's not bad either. I believe it's the same one that Phantom has. And he's got decent perks as well. So Talon's pretty good, and he has really good gun setups. Trench also has a really good gun. If you've ever played Paladins, this thing kind of shoots like Leon's rifle. Her heirloom rifle. This thing is pretty good. I personally still suck with it. Right? It's a rapid firing semi-automatic rifle. Damage is kind of down because it's rapid. It shoots because the fire rate is faster. But like I said, if you play Paladins, you might like this gun because it feels like that Leon rifle. He also has the HRM 30KS, which again is a decent gun. But he has the better pistol, the Executioner. Tear gas grenades. Now at first, I didn't realize these didn't damage you. They just create a field of disorienting gas, which, by the way, I tried to aim in one once, and it was so nauseating. My crosshair's gone, and like when I aim down sights, my gun just starts moving and swaying, so it does mess people up pretty nicely. He's also got the trophy system, and he has the ability to have 2 of them. And with his ability, where he creates a field of barbed wire, it slows enemies. Now, the biggest problem with Trench is that his ability also slows his teammates, and it prevents them from dodge rolling. Maybe that's intended because it would be a little too OP if people were having 1v1s in barbed wire and one person's able to move fast and dodge roll and the other person's not. But then again, that's the cost of that person putting themselves in that situation because they're standing in the enemy's barbed wire. He can also carry an additional gadget, so he can carry 2. Which makes him pretty good on locking down places. Vi. Well, I see a lot of people calling her V, but that's a Viper, aka Vi, man. Vile Poison. Create a cluster of poison pools that reduces enemies' maximum health. This is actually pretty dope. She gets 2 of them, 2 like charges of the ability, and when people step in it, enemies, it reduces their maximum health, and that health, like a Viper, gets sucked into her, so she gains more increased health, right? Reducing the maximum health of enemies gradually increases your maximum health to a cap of 25, so she could have 125 health. Because of that, she does not have armor, otherwise she'd have 150 health if she siphoned someone. She does have evade. Cloaked is still good. Tenacity, she can revive teammates faster while helping hand, but she has 6th sense and replenish. I think replenish, cloaked, and evade is really good with her. Incinerary grenades are really good. Tear gas grenades just as good, although they don't do damage, instead they disorient. She's got the better pistol in the game, and her Nightshade SMG or AR is pretty good. She's the only one with it, so whenever I play this character is the only time I get to determine if this gun is actually really good or just mediocre. S12 Tactical I've never used. I'm always scared to use shotguns because I miss shots. Now, if we're going to talk about which characters are actually good and which ones aren't, then here we go. I think defensive champions like Anvil and Trench are better on offense than they are on defense, because most of the times on defense you have to play more aggressive, and on offense they're playing a little bit more passive. I think Anvil is pretty good. So if we were to do a tier list, let's go ahead and do a tier list. Okay, so now that I've explained kind of like the good and the bad of all the characters in his what I thought short time, but really not. Let's go ahead and take a look at tier list that I'm going to create. So here we go. The best characters in the game. I think Saint is going to be S tier for now, only because he's the only one who can revive people from a distance. I also think that Glitch is going to be S tier. The only thing that's stopping him from being S tier is the fact that his hitbox is broken right now because of his hoodie. I think Talon is going to be A tier because of his reveal, and I think Talus will be right below him in B tier. The only reason why Talon is above him is because Talon can recall his dart, his reveal dart, and then use it again and again and again within a round. Dallas, if it's a very long round, might be able to get a second reveal. Other than that, I don't think it will be as good. I think Chalk will be A tier because of his ability to have 170 health, the self-revive as well, and to win 1v1s because of that extra health. Again, if you lose that 1v1 with that extra health, you need to reevaluate your playstyle there. I also think Scorch is going to be A tier as well for right now. Once teams start to work together and they realize flanks aren't going to work and they start to team shoot people, Scorch won't be as effective, but for right now she's pretty effective. I think Viper is going to be B tier because she's really, really good. I think, let's go in order for now. I think Anvil is going to be B tier. He can hold down sections of maps, especially on like Icarus, which is also where Dima comes in. But Dima is going to be C tier for right now, only because tenacity is a perk that a lot of the rogues have, so they can take care of a Dima. He still has 3 of the best guns in the game, so because of that, we're going to move him up to the B tier. I think Lancer's going to be C tier because, like I said, once you take away that flanking ability from her, she can still fight from the back line with the rest of her team, hold down lanes as well, but she's not going to be as effective as everyone else. For right now, I think Phantom is going to be C tier. She could move up to B tier if you have someone who can play her very well. But if you're missing shots, she's pretty useless. Her reveal in the grenade or in the smoke bomb is still good. But again, if you miss shots, she's pretty useless because her guns depend on you to make shots happen, especially headshots with the LR-15 full body. Ronin, I think, is going to be C tier. Her ballistic knife is pretty easy to find and destroy without it taking you down. If it's a smart player, then of course you will find a way around it. So this is just like any other game. If they're good, then they can, make a bad character good. So don't take this to heart. This is just an early competitive tier list. Trench is also going to be A tier. Like I said, he has 2 really good guns. His DMR is rapidly firing, and it fires faster than any other DMR in the game, I believe. And it does some pretty good damage, despite it being low damage because it fires faster. He can also carry 2 gadgets. He can keep you from moving fast because of barbed wire. He can lock down objectives, and he has pretty decent perks on his side as well. So there you go. There's the tier list. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's still too early in the game, in my opinion, to be able to accurately put out a good tier list, especially since no nerfs, no buffs, no nothing's happened. I mean, like 3 of these characters used to have like self-revive. Talon's old name was Phoenix, and a lot of things have changed. So who's to say a lot of things won't change in the future, especially with all the new stuff coming in future updates. So Rogue Company, awesome game. Here's your tier list from me. Don't take it to heart. Remember, we're still a long way from custom games and a long way from a competitive scene. But make sure you guys join the Rogue Esports Discord in the link in the description below. Shout out to Onilight and Phaseon. If you know them from back in the Paladins days, then you'll know they'll run some really, really good tournaments for Rogue Company once the time comes. And hopefully I will be casting them. And if not, I'll be a fan. But until then, keep gaming, everyone.